What is good, ladies and gentlemen? What is good? It's your boy Cheats, and this is the Black Baseball Mixtape podcast. On this fantastic episode of the podcast, you're going to hear from the podcast crew. We're going to talk about opening day overseas. The Japan series is less than 24 hours away right now. We're also going to talk about we're going to finish our over-unders this week. We've got Flobo back in the building. We're going to do the NL East and all the American League teams over-under win totals. And all of this, ladies and gentlemen, leads into our big prediction show, which we can announce is taking place next week. That's the 24th. Our big prediction show is going to be ready. We're also going to get into a little bit of players that are in make-or-break seasons in 2025. So we've got a lot to bring in, a lot to talk about. But before we do so, we've got to shout out our sponsors. Big shout out to Steelo Sports, the Players Alliance, Rebellion Harvest, NumbersGame Scorecards, Minority Prospects, and this time of year, we love to announce new sponsors, if you will, when it comes to the Black Baseball Mixtape. We are announcing tonight a brand new partnership with Red, Black, and Green Baseball. Shout out to Pat and all that he does over there. Make sure you check out his Substack, and you will be seeing Pat's work from Red, Black, and Green Baseball on blackbaseballmixtape.com. He's a tremendous, phenomenal writer, and we have brand new things coming, brand new articles, brand new series coming to the Black Baseball Mixtape podcast. I can't wait for that. So thanks to all our sponsors. If you want to partner with the Black Baseball Mixtape, please email us at blackbaseballmixtape@gmail.com. Crew, big shout out. He was gone last week giving a keynote at his alma mater. He is back. Flobo Voice is in the building. How we feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good. I feel academic, man. I'm feeling good. Thank you so much. Yeah, the show was, I heard the chat was going crazy last week, so I'm glad that we able to pick that up this time around, but so glad to be on the show again.
Well, you are here, Flobo, to bring the heat. We've got a lot to talk about when it talks about over-unders, a lot to talk about when it comes to make-or-break seasons, and I'm sure you have some opinions on the series that's going to open up here in Japan between the Dodgers and the Cubs. So we cannot wait to get your steaming hot takes. But before we do any of that, we got to also tell you, my man, we're so proud of you. Congratulations. It seemed like a very fun time to be able to go back to a place where you once walked the halls, if you will, and give a speech on, all things Flobo Boys, I guess.
I'm glad you mentioned this because actually the crux of the entire thing was about going out there and networking and not relying on your resume was us working with the Baseball United and that whole family and how they kind of trusted us based on our expertise and our vibes. And that's kind of a cool thing to make it all full circle about baseball.
Yeah, shout out to Baseball United as always. The vibes are always strong. The vibes are always strong with those guys. So, Malik. There's been a lot of player action, a lot of transactions. We were talking about it in our Discord. If you're not following, we're talking about in our Discord today. A lot of players being sent down. A lot of players fighting for positions. What say you, my man? How are you feeling?
Feeling good about baseball season starting up very soon. I know we've all been kind of watching spring training, trying to make sure we get through it without too many injuries on the roster, knock on wood. So honestly, I'm just ready for opening day to start. And yeah, there's been a lot of traction, a lot of players going down to the minors that we didn't really want to go down. But that's probably the hardest part for a lot of managers. It's just telling players, hey, you're not making open day rosters. So we're seeing a lot of that action going on right now.
Yeah, that one's tough. Today was tough. Will Benson was a tough one. And I forgot. So Will Benson got sent down to AAA. I actually do believe them when they say they sent him down to AAA because they want him to play every day. He was not going to play every day in the outfield in Cincinnati right now. Okay. And they kept him up all last year, despite when he was struggling. Mm-hmm. But they mentioned in 2023, the Reds organization mentioned in 2023, when they sent him down, he got right, came back up, and had a big second half of the season in 23. In 24 for Will Benson, they kept him up despite batting, I think it was like close to 200 all season. Mm-hmm. So they kept him up all season. He never had an opportunity to quote unquote get right and kind of finish the season kind of on a downturn. obviously this spring, there's a lot of players in the Cincinnati organization, and it's kind of funny because Terry Francona was the manager of the Guardians when they traded Will to Cincinnati. Now Terry Francona is in Cincinnati, and they're sending him down. But he said, and he quoted today for Will Benson, that he knows there's a good player in there. He thinks he's a tremendous player. He's got to get right, and hopefully Will Benson will be back up. But it wasn't just Will. We talked about Will Benson. We talked about Samad Taylor. Samad Taylor's another friend of the podcast that we, are rooting for. We thought that move to Seattle from Kansas City was going to be the move that allowed him to play on a major league roster every day, but he's been up and down, and he got sent down. Who else? There was a couple of guys. Quincy Hamilton was sent down, kind of more expected on that one, but Quincy Hamilton did not make the roster with the Astros, so he got sent down. A couple other guys that are going to start this season in AAA that we were kind of really rooting for to see who was going to make the roster. So
I know that the Tigers, Jace Young is not on the opening day roster.
Nope, he's sent down.
Yeah, he's not on. He's not going to be starting at third base. So just to think that a player that played on the playoff roster is not playing on the opening day roster is kind of telling.
And they said, for all case and points, it was his position to lose at third baseman spot, especially when Alex Bregman signed with the Red Sox. It was his position to lose, and it does not seem like he made it. So,
no.
All right, April. We are now. How do you feel? Because you've got to feel differently. We are less than 24 hours away from your favorite team in Major League Baseball taking the field in Japan. I've been seeing the highlights or the social media clips of all things that are happening. It seems like everybody has a Shohei Ohtani mask. Are we concerned at all? Are we happy? I know there's Mookie talk. There's talk about the Tokyo Giants sweeping the Dodgers. What say you? How do we feel right now?
Well, as a current defending champion, I feel confident going into this particular season and series. Now, I will say, not having Mookie begin the season, I'm a little touched by it, but considering it's a very serious illness that caused him to lose like 15 pounds,
yes,
I think I'm more concerned with him coming back healthy and ready to play. But for all intents and purposes, I think that we have a strong enough team where we can still compete against the Cubs. And I think that this will be, a great way to be able to start the season and gain some wins before we come back stateside.
We are, all of us, I think I can speak for all of us when I say we are hoping for a very swift recovery for Mookie Betts. Obviously, we all love Mookie Betts here. The reports are kind of concerning when they're talking about somebody losing 15 pounds from a flu. So we're all just like, hey, man, let's get him back stateside. That's a long trip over there. Let's get him back and make sure he's healthy. Even if he comes back, like the good thing is I think they got another week before real opening day or United States stateside opening day starts. But the Mookie thing is scary. They said he wasn't feeling good on the way over, but when he landed in Japan, he just got worse, and now he's losing weight. That is not good. So we just hope, obviously, a swift recovery for Mookie Betts. As we really get into the program, let me ask you guys, how do we feel? We did this last year. Dodgers was involved again. I think it was the Padres in Korea. Now it's the Cubs in Tokyo. How do we feel about them starting these two games that count as regular season games all the way across the world and basically a week before stateside opening day starts? Do we like this? Do we not like this? Should it just be a glorified exhibition or should it count for regular season? What do you say, Flobo?
I think having it as a regular season game gives it the weight they want and get a little bit of the fanfare. But it is kind of peculiar. You go out of your way to play two regular season games, and then you still have spring training games when you get back because there's the spring training freeway series with the Angels when they get back. So, I don't know. I don't want to be a curmudgeon. I don't want to say, what's the point? But I wish there was a
you're
way.
the resident curmudgeon on this show.
I mean, you're right. You got me. But if there was a way, There was a way to wedge it in there, man. Like, if you want to start the season and call that opening weekend in Japan. Cool. Other sports do that all the time. But then when you say, oh, it's really a regular season and we're going back to spring training, but then we're still going to try to milk the opening day MLB thing, that's definitely have your cake and eat it too. And that's the part I don't like. But hey, Japan loves it. Why not?
What do you think, Malik? Do you like starting this far away and this early?
I guess if I were to come from a player's perspective, I think it would be really fun. And so I can't really say anything bad about it. Just from the player's perspective, it seems like they really enjoy going to another country. Sometimes it's their first time being in another country like Japan or being in Japan. Staffers get to go there. Some family members get to go as well.
Mm-hmm.
These aren't just like players who make millions of dollars or players who are like on the fringes, relievers that are going to Japan. And so I think it's pretty cool for the players as far as from the fans' perspective and how much weight those games have. I think it's really interesting, like what Flobo was saying. There's still some spring training meaningless, in a sense, games after this game. And so it kind of makes it feel a little weird, but at the same time, I think it's really cool for the players to experience.
Sure, why not? To answer your question here, host
You
says,
already answered it.
I got to, but like MLB opening games starting in Japan makes sense. And maybe I'm biased because I was there for round 1 for NRL Vegas with the rugby stuff in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
They made a decision. Our first game is going to be in this country. Let's rock. I just don't like this whole hedging your bets so you can still say opening day USA, but go to Japan and say it counts really, but it doesn't. Like, come on, MLB, you pick one.
What do you think, April?
I'm torn on the issue, honestly, because on one hand, I think it's great to be able to have us broadcast all over the world, especially with the rise in Japanese players that we are getting from Japan, and then players in general that are coming or who play within the league. However, and I'm sorry, let me go back. I also like the fact that y'all said that people who typically wouldn't get a chance to go to those countries, those opportunities are presented to them. However, I also feel like opening day is something special for American baseball too. And I think it would be great for every team to start opening day together within the US. That's my only takeaway from it. I think it kind of takes away from that particular experience where we get to celebrate it at the same time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't mind waking up early to watch my team play, but I also would like the united feeling that I've had in previous years with fans where we're going to work all wearing our gear and we're all hyped up to watch our teams play on that particular day.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is I like the spectacle of Major League Baseball going to Japan and having a meaningful series. I don't necessarily know why they need to do it. I know why logistically they do it this early because they want the United States opening day to flow where everybody can play. Like they don't have to want to wait for a Major League Baseball team to travel back from Japan, right? And then have to play like regular season games in a series. Like I understand logistically why they did it, but didn't they play regular season games last year? Didn't the Cubs go to London? Who was in London last year?
Phillies and Mets.
Yeah, like there was a series that I mean, again, what's that from New York? That's a 6-hour flight, and then they're back.
Yeah, it's like 6 or 7 hours. Yeah.
So I mean, it's only tack on 2 extra hours from a West Coast to East Coast. You know what I mean? A Cali to New York type trip. But here's the thing: I like the spectacle. I really do. It seems like Japan is loving it. It seems like the MLB loves being over there. I'm following, Adam Jones's Instagram and CC Sabathia's Instagram and Ryan Howard and all the. It looks like they're having an absolute amazing time. Right?
Wow.
I do like that the games mean something, but I really don't think they have to, if that makes sense. I mean, I think they have to in the sense of they're going to pitch, this pitching matchup with Yamamoto and those things are really exciting. I think if they treated it like a spring training game, the spectacle would be the same, but the managers would not, they would treat it differently. The managers would play less of their marquee players longer. So I do like the fact that it's a spectacle. I like the fact that it does mean something in the sense that you're going to pitch your best pitchers. You're going to try to win the game. You're really going to fight hard. My challenge is I don't think I need it to be quote unquote a regular season game a week before regular season starts, if that makes sense. I like a lot of the stuff that we're like in Major League Baseball is doing with it. I think it's phenomenal. Even the collabs, the fashion collabs, and all the things that MLB is doing with fame artists in Japan. It's phenomenal. I love it all. They've got a whole like Ralph Lauren polo series that's out with Japan series. I love all of it. Like it's fantastic. I just don't know if I need this game, and I felt the same way last year in Korea. I just don't know if I need it this early before the season to have two kind of meaningful games that are just like outliers. And then, like Flobo said, you come back stateside and you're still playing spring training games. And then before you really start what I think, the continental U.S. calls the World Series. I just think it puts those teams in a really difficult spot, to be honest with you.
So let me ask the question. Does that mean then you be in favor of, say, 4 teams or 8 teams doing what other sports do, like a preseason tour? And just put like 4 teams in Japan and 4 teams in Korea and have them play some spring training games? Because that's what makes it difficult.
Does the games mean anything?
I mean, it means something to them, but it's not like in soccer where you can pick 4 teams and just say, okay, you guys are going to go out to the United States and tour. Everyone's doing spring training at once. And so I wonder how that would look like if you were to make them exhibition games in spring training. You'd have to bring multiple teams, wouldn't you?
You put the Dodgers against the Giants in the Tokyo Dome, the game's going to sell out. It's going to be phenomenal. They already did it. People seem to really, really enjoy it. I don't necessarily need the Dodgers playing the Cubs in the Tokyo Dome for a regular season meaningful game, right? I do like what you're talking about, and I think the Premier League and a lot of like international soccer leagues do it really well. In their off season or their downtime or something of that nature, they're sending teams to the United States to play in our football stadiums to have these great friendlies, right? But they're friendlies. They're not meaningful regular. They're not playing a Premier League game in, Chicago, right? Like and it counts as a regular season Premier League game. No, I think they use that to showcase the teams, showcase the stars, and showcase the league in the offseason. And I think that's what Major League Baseball could do. Like, again, we're going away from, like, I think we're only a few heartbeats away from, say, like the NBA really doing, like, regular season games overseas, right, to, like, grow the game internationally. I think Major League Baseball is trying to grow the game internationally. I just don't necessarily need, I just don't necessarily need it a week before the regular season starts. Which I could be hypocritical because like I said, I really did enjoy the London series. I felt like that was in season. I don't think that it didn't feel like it disrupted the season. It just seemed like a really cool spectacle, right?
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned that because looking at the schedule from last year, both teams got the Thursday and the Friday off, play the Saturday and Sunday, and then took the Monday off to travel back, and they had to tack on that third game into another series they had. So,
yeah, I don't know. Now, really quickly before we get into it, what do we expect out of the baseball? Well, again, we're less than 24 hours away.
You mean like out of the game that's going to be played in 2 hours?
What do you think, Malik? What do you think about the baseball?
So the game, we're going to see, first of all, the crowd's going to be crazy. You might see the camera shaking a little bit if you're watching the game. But I think that, and I've been listening in on this, but I think Seiya Suzuki from the Cubs might go off for the crowd because, he was a star when he signed with the Cubs leaving Japan. And we kind of forget about him with all of the hype that's been going on with the Dodgers. But like Seiya Suzuki is still a star in Japan, kind of like how Shin-Soo Choo is received in Korea. And so I think that this guy's really going to put up a pretty cool series. He's probably going to stay a little bit healthier. He's going to be a DH this year. So let's see him do something this series. I'm excited about him.
April, what are we thinking? Your team's about to take the field. Yamamoto's about to take the mound on opening day. First of all, is he the right opening day starter for the Dodgers? Yamamoto, and obviously everybody's going to be looking at Shohei and Freddie now that Mookie's out.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that it's just it's absolutely Yamamoto. It was no doubt in my mind that it could be anyone else. So I feel like you're appealing to the crowd. You're also appealing to one of your strong starters, very much so like we did in the postseason last year. And I think that we're going to be ready. Obviously, we're going to come out on top. So you get to watch a good show with us winning. And I think that it will be a great way to be able to start the season.
Really quickly, do we think Yamamoto last year, let's just take a quick look at it. He was, what did he do? Is this, am I reading this right? 7 wins, 2 losses, earner an average of 3, 18 starts. 18 starts. I mean, he was pretty solid when he was healthy, right? There was an injury spell in there for Yamamoto. Do you project him with already pitching in the major leagues, now starting to kind of understand if there's a difference in baseball, if there's a difference in mound size? Do you expect Yamamoto to be better in 2025? Or the other side of this coin is players are starting to get a look at him. They're starting to see things that they hadn't seen before. I do remember guys like Hideo Nomo who had amazing first-year campaigns. A lot of international pitchers have amazing first-year campaigns, and then they come back down to reality. Are you expecting Yamamoto to be better or worse in 2025?
Well, I think that a lot of those pitchers also did not have Mark Price as their pitching coach. So I think that that also adds a different element to what we have. I know that he's added a couple pitches into his routine as well. I do think that he will be more acclimated to the starting rotation. I think as far as I think I heard people talk about the actual balls, the starting day rotation. I think they only pitched once a week where we pitched every 5 games. I think that now he will be more adapted and we will see a more improved Yamamoto, even to the point where some of you may be considering Cy Young hopes. So yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Yeah, I said it. I said it.
Well, okay. Okay.
What do you think, Malik? Do you think Yamamoto is going to deliver even better than year one?
It's hard to say better. I'm looking at his underlying statistics, and it looks like he was an above average pitcher, if not just like one of the best. But he had a limited sample size compared to a lot of pitchers. I mean, he had 18 starts, 90 innings pitched, which is a pretty good half of a season. But what I want to see from Yamamoto this next season, for him to really take the next step for me, is he's probably going to have to rely on that fastball a little bit more. Yep. Because if they're able to spot up his fastball, the other pitchers are kind of going to, get hit as well, because he really has a really lovely splitter. His splitter is what gets guys out. But let's say that he's not placing the fastball, he's not commanding it that night. Then the splitter becomes something they just look at. Usually these guys are swinging at it out of the zone. And so he's going to have to really adjust to the game in that sense. And I think he will if he's able to really command that fastball. And it's really going to depend on him and Will Smith's chemistry this year, honestly. It's really going to be like, is he going to take the next step with Will Smith and knowing, how to command the game, how to adjust to different lineups. And so sophomore slumps are real, but I think he'll probably even be the same, if not a little better. But I don't know if he's going to win the Cy Young now. I don't know about all that.
well, very much like the Dodgers. Very much like the Dodgers, they're taking a lot of the air out of the room. But one thing that we should bring up is opposite Yamamoto, is Shota Imanga. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Imanaga.
Showtime.
And he was nothing but 15-3 last season with a 2.91 ERA. He started 29 games and was absolutely phenomenal. Japan native. I think they're going to go crazy for him as well. Obviously, he's pitching against that Dodgers lineup, but are we excited about Shota? Is Shota getting the short end of the stick here with Yamamoto and Sasaki starting on the Dodgers side? But Shota is a big time pitcher, man.
That was Flobo's guy last year. So
Yeah, good old Mike and Managa. Yeah.
very high on him at the beginning of the season, even last year. And I will say that with the shine being on the Dodgers, having so many Japanese players, I do feel like he gets the short end of the stick. It's unfortunate. And I hope that this series allows people to see him shine the way that he does or has been.
Well, we did the NL Central. Do you have your handy notes there, April? We
I
did the
do.
NL Central last week. Where were we on the over-unders with the Cubs?
Okay, last week, Malik and I were both over, and Cheats, you were under.
Strong. I was strong. I stand by my strong predictions that the Cubs will underachieve in 2025.
Did.
Mark
Wow.
it down.
Under 86 wins.
I mean, that's kind of a loaded question. When's the last time the Cubs have overachieved? But
When they won the World Series.
yeah, with their expectations, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, but I
We
think
also talked about them getting Kyle Tucker, and they also added, I can't think of the other player that they added. So I do think that they'll be a little bit better.
And without Mookie, they might get 2 wins this week.
Listen.
All right. Well, that's a great segue into going into over-unders. Ladies and gentlemen, Flobo's here. Butterman Kane is here. April is here. And we now have to start with the vaulted National League East. That's right. What we're doing, if you just didn't join us last week, we are going to Vegas. We are picking the Vegas number. And we are talking. We're saying if we think the club will go over or under the win total. This is just win total. Let's start with those ever popular Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves, according to Vegas. Now, let me take off my glasses for this. All right, 93.5 wins. 93.5 wins. Last year, the Atlanta Braves finished second in the East. 6 games behind the Phillies with 89 wins. So now we've got to say 93.5. Vegas is thinking they're going to be better. Malik, do you think the Atlanta Braves are going to be better? Do you think they go over or under 93.5 wins?
Here's the thing about the Braves. Every time I try to give bad vibes to the Braves, it really just bites me in the ass. So I'm gonna give it over this time on the Braves, just because I'm an Astros fan. They did us pretty dirty in 2019. Then everybody found out what we did. So I'm gonna say over.
What did you do, Malik? What did you do?
I don't know what they did. It's something
Tell the
about
crowd, Malik.
Sounds like some type of I think it was like a bongo drum was going on.
Yeah, they're just musically inclined, y'all. That's
it was a
up.
drum circle, guys. Okay, so yeah, definitely gonna say that over for the Braves because their pitching staff is not that bad actually. They know how to develop some of these guys that are not known in the minors, I would say, but they got Chris Sale, Ronaldo Lopez, and a pretty good lineup. So over.
So you're going over 93.5 is the number. Flobo, welcome to over under. You get to choose.
So
over under Atlanta Braves NL East 93.5.
I'm torn because they won 89 games last season.
Yes.
And on paper they're a better team. So they should win 4 more games. But 93.5 in the NL East, I don't think it's going to happen. Like, I just don't think that NL East is going to hit so many games. So I'm going to say under, but that's no disrespect to the Braves this time, but rather just because that number being so high. So I got the under.
So you got the under 93.5. Malik has the over. April, what do you say? 93.5. Mind you, there's a team that won 104 games in 2023.
I have under as well. Listen, y'all. I know I'm gonna be considered a Braves hater. I don't see it for them.
I
It's
forgot about
fine.
that
Do
part.
that. Hey,
I
that's cool. I like
don't
that.
Are a Braves
see it
hater.
for them. I think that proudly. I think that they've. I just don't see it. I think that they've lost some really good starting pitchers. Arcia's production has decreased mightily. And I feel that there are some areas that they will need to improve on. I feel like other teams probably got better. Yes, they're going to get Acuna back, but what is that going to look like when you still got the Phillies there, you got the Mets there? I think the Nats are going to be better. So we'll see. But no, I have under.
We all are on. Look at this. We're all under for April, under for Malik, over.
I was
Flobo,
over.
Is that what
I
it is?
was
No,
over.
Malik is over.
And Malik is
I'm
over.
under.
Flobo's under.
Yeah.
April's under. This one's tough. My heart and everything tells me to go over.
Oh, come
because
on.
Acuna's gonna be back in that lineup, and he's gonna be healthy. Michael Harris, I think, is gonna have a better year than he had last year.
He's racing Lawrence Butler, man. Over by him.
Yeah, he's not.
He's racing Lawrence Butler. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Michael Harris is gonna be better. Ozzy's gonna be there. Mm-hmm. Everything tells me in my mind that they're gonna go over 93.5. So I'm not gonna fight it. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go over.
Don't fight it.
I'm gonna go over.
I just don't see any team in NL East doing 94 wins. I just don't see it.
It's gonna be tough.
And I have my glasses on. Don't see it.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So now, because they think Vegas thinks the Braves are going to be better than last year, you've got to look at who actually won the NL East last year, and that was a 95-win Philadelphia Phillies team, 95-67. Vegas this year has the Phillies at 91.5. So that's a 4-game drop. That's a 4-game drop for the Phillies. And I'm going to start with Flobo. 4-game drop for the Phillies. The number, again, I want to say is 91.5. 91.5. Do you think the Phillies go over or under that number?
Despite the fact that Philadelphia is getting older by the season and they have like negative aura, I'm going to say over here. I do think they win the division. I do think the pitching is strong enough. I mean, to get them over that hump, but I ain't going to like it.
So you're saying Phillies over 91.5. April, what say you?
I have them at 91.5. No,
I guess
more.
you can call a push. We didn't talk about this last week, but you can say the number's right. You're just going to stay with the exact number.
Nah, 0.5 games don't count. Come on.
No, I just say
it's like, do you think they're going to get 92 wins?
I have at most 93, so I'll do over. I don't think that they're going to get more than 93, but I'll stick with that. 93. Over.
Malik is rubbing his hands. He's ready to go. What do you think? 91.5. Mind you, the Phillies did win 95 games last year.
Okay, so I'm going to have to comment on that negative aura statement. The Phillies added one more black person, and his name is Joe Ross. Look at my African-American. Right?
So, didn't the Phillies add 2? Did they add Devin Sweat too?
Paul McIntosh, but that's a non-roster invite.
No, I think it's Devin Sweat, the pitcher.
Devin's. Let me see. Yeah. Is he but I don't know if he's on the roster though. He needs to be on.
I don't think he's, but I think he's a guy that was in camp and he's throwing. Okay. And he's on he's on our Black Baseball Mixtape tracker. Okay. Because Taijuan Walker had 2 more pitchers in that lineup.
Yeah, Walker. Yeah, Taijuan Walker's on the roster. Ross.
Yes.
True. So negative aura points for that. However, I think that they go over 91.5 wins. Their rotation is a lock. Their lineup is a lock. So over 91.5 for me.
I got a question for you, real quick. Do you think Wheeler still has the juice this season, or you think the wheels fall off with Wheeler?
Yeah, I think Wheeler's
Okay, I can't really predict bad juju on any pitchers because you never know. We didn't expect Bieber to go down. We didn't expect Strider to go down last year. So I can't say that. I just know that there was a time when Wheeler was kind of like paper mache, and when he was with the Mets, and now he's kind of a big dog. So we don't know. This could be a new man. It could be a new body.
He's not kind of a big dog. Zach Wheeler is a big dog.
He is.
He's number one.
Okay, he's a big dog. Okay, correction. He's a big dog.
Shout out to my guy in the comments. Says all he cares about is Andrew Painter pitching. That's fantastic.
That would be lovely to see him do it.
Hey, look, Mick Abel was another really high pitcher. He got sent down. He got designated. So, but we'll be interested to see what Andrew Painter does in the long term. But now, did everybody make their predictions? 91.5 on the Phillies.
Yeah, I'm over.
Flobo, what was yours again?
So mine.
I was over.
Yes. Well, here's the thing, and we talked about this last week. And I strongly believe what you guys are saying. Something has to give. Something has to give in the NL East. I say the Braves are over. I'm going to say the Phillies are under. The Phillies are the team that's going to give a little bit. They're not going to be bad, but I don't think they get to the win total they got to last year. I think the Braves are going to be better. I think the Mets are going to be better. I think the Nationals are going to be better. And I think they're going to knock a little bit of that veneer off of what Philly's done the last couple years. So I am slightly under 91.5. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to bring up Flobo's favorite team, the team that we've all been watching this offseason. And I'm assuming the team that's going to make – actually, not really. I would have thought they would have made the biggest jump on the over-unders. But they're listing the New York Metropolitans at 90.5. 90.5. Last year, the Mets, who obviously was a playoff team, did a really good job. They finished the season last year with 89-73. So they really think Vegas thinks the Mets are going to be the same, even with the monster addition of Juan Soto. April, do you think the Mets are going to be the same with the monster addition of Juan Soto? The Mets number is 90.5.
Yes, I have them as the same. I don't see it being significantly better. I had them at about 91 wins, so I'm there.
So what's your call? Over or under?
I'm gonna go over, no more than 92.
You're going over.
Yes.
Malik, are you going over with the Mets? 90.5. Last year they won 89 games.
I'm going under with the Mets on 90.5 wins, and mostly because due to the rotation. And I have this theory about Juan Soto being a very incredible player, and what he needs is great hitters next to him or good vibes, and they either have to be going on at the same time, or one has to be just as strong as the other. So when he was with the Nats, good vibes in his last year when he won the World Series. With the Yankees last year, great hitters. But when he was at the Padres, great hitters, but were the vibes there? We don't know. We don't know. I'm not gonna say anything about that. But I'm just saying he had Machado next to him. He had Tatis with him. He had an all-star staff with him. So it doesn't really matter what team he's gonna be on. But at the end of the day, I think they're gonna go under just because it's a tough division and that pitching is looking a little questionable.
I'm gonna change my pick.
You're changing your pick? Whoa, late. Hold on. We need a
Hey, I'm convincing.
We are changing the pick. April, now where are you before we go to Flobo and myself? I'm gonna go myself and Flobo.
I'm for sure under, and I'm gonna agree with Malik because I've had this conversation with my dad, and he said the exact same thing about Juan Soto and how he meshes with certain players. And so I'm gonna go with under for now. And I also forgot about that pitching rotation switching up. So we will see, but yeah, under.
So they're going under. Shout out to Juan Soto. The Juan Soto did an interview on a Spanish language podcast, which is getting a lot of clips. In the clip, he says Fernando Tatis is like by far the most toolsiest player he's ever seen, and he thinks has the most tools in all of Major League Baseball. And so, shout out for him giving Tatis some love there. I thought it was fantastic. I won't waste your time. I won't belabor your point. I believe the Mets will be a worse team in 2025 than they were in 2024. There's no, I thought the Mets were a great story last year, but I also thought the Mets were kind of under the radar in many ways. They were under the radar to the Braves, under the radar to the Phillies. They were under the radar to the Yankees in their own town. I think with the money that Steve Cohen is spending, I think with the acquisition of Juan Soto, what they did last year in the playoffs, I think that they are not going to sneak up on anyone. They're not going to be a cute, like, oh, the Mets are winning games, don't look down type story. I think they're going to get everybody's best shot. When you get everybody's best shot, I think, some of the games they might have eked out last year, they're not going to eke out this year. So, again, I don't think it's by much. I think, they've got some really, really good players over there. None of them really pitch. So I think that I think they're going to be worse. Flobo, the floor is yours.
You know what,
New York
Malik?
Metropolitans 90.5.
Malik convinced me too. I was going to put under, but now I'm doing over, yo.
Yes.
160.0. That's what we're talking about. No, but let's be real. We're talking about Juan Soto, and I can't believe I'm actually defending the guy, but we're talking about Juan Soto. What you're seeing in that dugout now in spring training, most of the players are having a good time. The vibes are high. They are a pan-Latin team. I think we're not seeing the kind of chemistry we saw in New York when you realize, oh, man, this is corporate AF. So maybe that might do something. You're right. There are some holes in the rotation. We're not sure. I mean, even some of the infield guys are coming down with injuries, but the young core looks good. I got to say over now, just out of spite. So thank y'all. Thank y'all for doing that for them.
All right. I love it. I love it. Let's go to the Washington Nationals. Washington Nationals. Vegas has the Nationals at 72.5. Last year they won 71 games. I'll start because I am the resident Nationals homer now that I know and like a lot of their players. I've been to spring training. I think the Nationals have a tremendous upside in regards to where they are going to be. They have the potential to do what the Orioles did, which was stack a lot of young players, and before you know it, they're winning games. I don't know if they're going to win games at 100 like the Orioles were. They went over 100 wins 2 years ago. The Orioles have hosted playoff games the last 2 years. I don't know if the Nats will be there, especially this year, but I also feel like they have a little bit of the same problem that the Orioles have, is that their position players and their hitters are leaps and bounds above their pitching, and pitching matters. I do think that they are going to be a better team than last year. I do. I think they will go over this number that Vegas, I think, extremely low number that Vegas put on them of 72.5. I just don't know how far that pitching is going to take them, but I do think the Nats, I'm going over. That's my line, and I'm sticking to it. What do you say, Flobo boys? The number is 72.5.
I'm gonna say over. I'm thinking like 77 games and it's all said and done. So it's kind of a low bar to clear for me, but there's too much youth in that squad to drop as many games as we saw last season. So over is mine.
April.
Black Nats, baby, over.
Malik.
Yes, we are Black Nats forever. Look at this team. I mean, just look at the team. We got a year of James Wood. We're gonna get a full year of Dylan Cruz. The rotation, like you mentioned, the pitching is a little questionable. However, we got guys coming back like Kate Cavalli. We got guys in the tank. Maybe Josiah Gray comes back this year. So
I think he's gonna come back this year, but I don't. Will it matter?
Later.
By the time he comes back, I don't know if it'll matter.
I mean, he might be able to kind of stabilize things.
Yeah.
So I hope for this team, and so they have to do better just by the fact that they got players playing a full year with full run time. So over.
We love the vibes. We love the vibes. Shout out to the Nats. Speaking of the Black Nats, let's go to last year's Black team, the Black Marlins. Clearly, we know that did not work out the way we planned. And some of the Black Marlins, i.e. Josh Bell, is on the Black Nats now.
They broke up like
B2K.
B2K.
The number from Vegas.
Girlfriend.
The number from Vegas is 63.5. Which means they do think they're going to be a game better than they were last year. The Marlins last year were 62-100. They were 33 games out of first in the NL East. April, do you think the Marlins are going to be better or worse than 63.5?
I really like Clayton McCullough, you know, him coming from the Dodgers and being the new Miami manager. However, they have done absolutely nothing this offseason. I don't even want to know, like, will it matter me giving a pick? Because I'm just kind of like,
It does matter. You have to give a pick.
You gotta.
I'm gonna just say that I'm gonna say under. I'm just gonna say under.
What do you say, Flobo? Sandy Alcantara is back. He's the opening day starter.
Yeah, but he can't do it alone, right? So I can't believe a team is even considered in the 60-game winning column, but someone has to be there. It's going to be Miami, unfortunately. That city deserves better. Florida baseball in general deserves better. It ain't going to happen this year, though.
Malik, would say you, Marlins, 63.5.
Lord have mercy. I'm looking at this roster. I'm thinking like
Cal Stowers, baby. Stowers and Connor Norby.
Xavier Edwards is a really nice player.
Our guy,
Connor Norby, really nice player. But I need
great
somebody to project any player that's going to hit over 20 home runs for any of the players in this lineup this season. And the roster that we see here is not going to be the roster that we see by August. I have to go under. And so I'm going to go under, mostly even with the rotation, because we might see Sandy Alcantara in pinstripes by the end of this year.
So I'm going to go under.
Wait, you mean Yankees pinstripes, Phillies pinstripes, Chicago's pinstripes?
You know.
Wait, do you really think New York is actually going to trade for Sandy Alcantara? Really?
You know how that goes. You know the Florida to New York pipeline is very strong.
Fair.
I
withdraw my question. You got me.
I think the Florida to anywhere pipeline is strong. Florida just skipped them out.
They play there, then they get old and go right back to Florida.
Skip them out. All right, boys and girls, let's go to. We did the NL East.
What was yours?
Oh, under.
Okay.
Under. We did the NL East. Let's go to the AL East. We're gonna probably run into time as we did last week, but let's at least get through the AL East, and then we might do 2 divisions at a time. But the AL East, I want to get with you guys here and with Flobo here, and so let's start it off with at the top. Let's start it off at the top. The New York Yankees win predictions. Also, let me just note for Vegas. We knew this. We talked about it last week. Now that we're through the NL, all the Dodgers, Atlanta, Phillies, and Mets all are the 4 highest win totals in all of baseball. So all 4 of those teams have higher Vegas prediction win totals than the top team in the American League, which is the New York Yankees at 89.5. Okay, so that's just a reflection of what Vegas thinks of the National League versus the American League. 89.5 is a dip from 94 wins. The Yankees, 94 wins last year. Vegas thinks they're going to be slightly worse. The number is 89.5. Flobo, do you think the Yankees are better or worse than last year? And do you think they go over or under 89.5?
Whether you like Juan Soto or not, in my case, not. It presented a big hole for the Yankees.
He's your
roster.
best player now.
I don't like him. Don't make me like him. I'm going to buy a jersey next week.
I don't know what you're doing.
Oh no, it's not working in baseball. But I do think the Yankees went out and got some pieces that were, whether that they were good, time to be seen. I mean, can Goldschmidt go the entire season? But they were more recognizable and they wanted to plug holes. So I think the Vegas projection is kind of conservative. I'm actually going over here.
So you're over the 89.5 for the Yankees. April, Yankees, 89.5. Again, last year's record for the Yankees was 94 and 68. April's handicapping is unreal.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What, how am I?
April has totals. She's not just flying by the seat of her pants here, people. She has handicap stats. What are you saying, April?
They're going to have 90 wins. I'm going under.
You're going under the 89.5, but if he has
90 I'm sorry.
Over.
You're right. Over.
Okay. So you're going over by one game. Malik, what say you?
It's giving for me it's giving under. It's giving under. And the reason why is obviously the big dogs hurt. So we're gonna need a little bit more of that. Also, but I will say we're gonna see some really great seasons out of guys that are playing around Aaron Judge. We're gonna see Cody Bellinger and Jazz Chisholm try to play some of their best baseball in New York. So I'm excited to see the team play, but I want to see them really dog out like a wild card spot. So I'm saying under 89.
Interesting.
25.
Yeah, I'm going to say under as well, but only because of the arm injuries. That's the only thing that I think, and I think starting pitching matters. I think their starting pitching is going to be bad. I think Devin Williams can't do it all by himself in the bullpen as well. So, I mean, I just think they're going to struggle with pitching. This is also a team that I have no doubt in my mind are going to get hot, and they're going to get so hot that they might win off 12 out of 14 games. I mean, they're just going to be killing the ball at certain parts of the season. But, I mean, man, they can mash. They should be able to mash. They're still going to struggle a little bit with defense. I think they're still going to struggle a little bit with base running. But they're going to struggle a lot with pitching. And that's where I think is going to be the big difference. And I think that's where they're going to suffer. And I think that's why they're going to go under 89.5. As we continue to look at the NL East, this one's a heartbreaker for me personally. The Baltimore Orioles, you know how I feel about them. They are listed at 87.5. Last year, the Orioles won 91 games. The year before that, the Orioles won 101 games. So the Orioles are trending downward. Vegas thinks they trend even further down as the O's are listed at 87.5. Flobo, what say you with the O's at 87.5?
That Vegas is the hardest one because I do think they're in that 87 game, 88 game range. So, with all due respect to the Orioles, their window is closing, right? And so that's hard. The 0.5 throws it in there. I'm going to say under, but it's a very slight under. There's some pieces they still need. I kind of wish they had that 22 kind of push they had. I just didn't think we see it this year at all. So
I think Vegas is disrespecting my team. I'm going over. I'm just letting you know. I think Vegas is disrespecting my team. I think they're going on. Again, I just mentioned it. 101 wins in 2023, right? And then last year, obviously, again, I think sneaking up on teams matters. You're not sneaking up on teams. You're getting their best shot. And they still got 91 wins. The fact that you've gone down to 87.5 is blatant disrespect. Batista's coming back. I think
hold on, Cheats. You talked about the Mets being a team that you can't sneak up on anybody. The Orioles have been written about for years about this young core ready to break out, take on the whole.
So I'm so glad you mentioned that. I think the 101 win season in 23 was the year that the Orioles snuck up on folks. I think the Orioles got everybody's best shot last year, and they were still at 90. What did I tell you? 91 wins last year? 91 and 71. Right. So, and hosting a home playoff game. I didn't think they snuck up on anyone last year. I think the biggest thing was we lost Saint Hilaire, and I love him. I'm disappointed that we lost him. But hey, look, we've got some guys waiting in the wings to step up and play well. I do think hopefully the pitching will be a little bit, it'll be strong. We won't have Corbin Burns there. So I understand what Vegas is saying, but I think the Orioles are going to be a better team. I think they're going to hover around that 90, 91, 92 win mark, and I think they're going over. What do you say? April?
I have under as well. I do. I'm with Vegas. I actually had them at maybe 85 wins. And I think that's losing Corbin Burns is gonna hurt them big time. Not trying to keep Santander is gonna hurt them big time. Yes, they have some young guys, but are the young guys typically ready? So no, I don't see it for them improving in a Red Sox team that's gotten better, in a very hungry Tampa team. So I'm gonna go with under.
Oh snap!
Malik. Okay.
The show's over.
I'm not upset. I'm not upset at
I
all.
will be back next week, y'all.
Not mad.
He big bad.
I'm not mad. Y'all are just wrong.
So the number for the Orioles is 86.5. Is that 87 wins for the Orioles?
87.5. So they got to get 88 wins.
Oh,
it's the tightest one, I think, for sure.
Okay, it's gonna be under. Because let me see, and I'm gonna have to say it to you, Cheats. Game 2 starter, you're giving the ball to Charlie Morton. Now that would have been cool in 2017.
We're not giving it to what's his name? No. Who we got from the Rays? Eflin?
Oh, Eflin? Oh, he's game 1 because he's looking like Grayson. Yeah, you know what about Grayson? I don't know where Grayson is. He's
hurt right now, but he's coming back.
I'm just saying.
So Rodriguez got the ball game 1, playoff game 1.
I don't know if he's ready for that right now. But at the same time,
Grayson got a game 2, right? Burns might have got a game 1.
I don't know, man. I think the offense is going to show us some things. We're going to see second year from Jackson Holiday. I mean, we were talking about him. Now no one's talking about him, but he's gonna show us some things. The offense is going to be scary, but I'm saying under only because that rotation is really important, and you got to have healthy and reliable starting pitching, and that's what's going to get you to the playoffs. So I'm going under that.
And I'm looking in the comments here. There's some Blue Jays and Red Sox. Terrence, I hear you. Blue Jays and Red Sox are better this year, so the Orioles come up short. Why's it got to be the Orioles? Why can't other teams come up short? Anyways, understand what you're saying? That's all I'm saying.
What are you saying?
As we continue on, Boston Red Sox, I think they're a lot of talk in the offseason by acquiring Bregman and Walker Buehler from their respected places. The Red Sox had 81 wins last year. They were 13 games out of first. I think in many ways a lot of Red Sox fans thought they were a little bit of a disappointment overall. But hey, look, it is what it is when it comes to the Red Sox and how they get down. Let's look at the number from Vegas. It is 86.5. So 86.5. The Vegas guys think that the Red Sox are going to be a lot better. Who did they get? The starting pitching. They got a huge pitcher. Not Walker Buehler. Somebody else bigger, right?
Crochet? Is that Crochet?
Yeah, is it Crochet?
Yes, Crochet.
Yeah. So they think with Crochet, Buehler, Alex Bregman, Devers, another year from All-Star, Jared Duran. I mean, everybody's thinking the Red Sox are going to be a really, really good baseball team. April, do you think the Red Sox are going to be a really, really good baseball team? Or better, should I just say not really good, but better than 86.5?
Yes, I do. I have the Red Sox as better, and I have them as over. Now, not by much, because my overs don't be too much. But yes, I have the Red Sox as better. I also think that Cora is a great manager. I think that's something that I've mentioned many times. I love him as a manager, and I think that he's going to lead them over this 86.5 Vegas thing.
Malik, what do you think? 86.5 for the Red Sox.
I'm gonna have to go with the Red Sox. I'm gonna have to go over, and I think it's really because of the Alex Bregman effect. I really do think he's a really good pitcher whisperer. They have a great rotation that's young and ready to go, but he's able to kind of like study the hitters. He's very smart, and that's what makes up for a lot of the declining tools that they're saying that he's going through in his like younger 30s. And so I think that they go over that win total, and it's going to be because of Alex Bregman.
You were making a face earlier, Flobo. You're not necessarily making that same face now.
Yeah.
Red Sox 86.5. When April was giving hers, you were looked a little shocked. 86.5 for the Red Sox.
No, I was torn, but the more I think about it, I gotta go with the over, man. The Boston Red Sox, a year removed from the full throttle season when nothing happened for them and it kind of blew up in that AL East. They're actually seeing building parts, and they're doing it the right way with money and some smart moves. I mean, that's how our championship caliber teams are built. So I'm looking at Crochet. I know he's young. I know he has a bit of quirks, you know what I mean, as far as like his usage, but I think that may be the secret sauce, even without a Pavetta this season. So I have them doing a lot better. So I'm gonna go with over.
April, you'd mentioned that you think Alex Cora is a really good manager, right?
Yeah, that's good. Like why that?
Why?
Yeah. Yeah, like I
why do we think? Why do we think?
I want to know, like, why?
Going somewhere?
Huh?
Is this going somewhere?
No, I'm just saying. I don't know why we think Cora is such a good manager. No, so with that said, the Red Sox, 2023, 78 wins. Now, was Cora there or was he?
He was. Oh, wait. Was he suspended? Was that the year he was?
I don't know when all this is.
He was suspended, I think, in 2020.
Something like that.
Yeah. So
the Red Sox 78 wins in 23. The Red Sox 81 wins in 24. I like you guys. I think they got better players. If you got better players, I think you're going to win some games. I think they will go over this number. I do think they're going to go over this number, but I am not convinced that the Red Sox are going to be, the end all be all of the AL East. I mean, again, not you guys aren't saying that. I'm just going by what the pundits are saying in the AL East. They know the Yankees are going to be good. They know the Orioles are going to be good. They're assuming the Red Sox are going to be the team that makes, the most improvement. Again, they got better players. Bregman, Crochet, Bueller. They just got better players. So I think they're going to be better, but I don't know how much better. I think they're going to be right around that 86 win total. I'm just going to go over for the sake of the argument. But I'm not convinced that, they've got like a savant back there. I don't know if they got Joe Torre back there managing the team.
I'm not saying that he's Joe Torre, but I do think that he will play the best player in the position that needs to be played.
Right.
I also feel like he's a good type of player. Like he's kind of hard-nosed, like you know exactly what you're going to get from him. But at the same time, it's still somewhat motivational. So it's not
to mention he was a heck of a defensive shortstop at the University of Miami. He was amazing. Right. Have you ever watched those College World Series highlights of Alex Cora playing shortstop at Miami? He's phenomenal. He is phenomenal. Let's go to Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays, Vegas has these guys at 81.5 wins. 81.5 wins. They won 80 games last year. So not much of a change. I guess a slight 2 games better than last year for the Rays. What say you, Flobo? I don't know. Again, I guess the number is 81.5. They won 80 games last year. They are not playing in the Trop this year, obviously, because of hurricane damage. That puts them in a minor, I think the spring training facility of the Yankees all season. what do you think about the Rays? The Rays also, quickly, I will say, the Rays were a season off of 99 wins. So 99 wins in 23, 80 wins in 24, 14 games back. And I don't know if we're allowed to say the shortstop that we will not say in public, but he had some allegations.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
What say you with the Rays? 81.5.
I got under, but only because I got it as 500 ball. The Rays and the artist formerly known as the Oakland Athletics, they have these different location home fields. I'm not sure what that means. Personnel looks good for Tampa Bay, sure, but I'm not sure what that means as far as care and the physios and the equipment and all that stuff that may impact on the field out there. I know I'm just kind of speculating at this point. So I had him at 81, which is under by this. So which is kind of also a close one for me. I'm going with under.
I'm going to go under as well. I really do like Taj Bradley. We're not going to get to that segment in this show, but I think Taj Bradley is kind of in a make or break situation this year. He showed flashes last year where he was a really, really good pitcher for them. Shout out to Richie Palacios. I like him a lot as well. Obviously, we're talking a little bit about Tampa Bay and the young guys, Chandler Simpson, Trey Morgan, those types of guys, if they're going to go up and make an impact on the major league roster. If those guys are going up and making an impact on the major league roster, they're in worse shape than we think with the players that they have. No disrespect to those guys. I think they're phenomenal players. I think Chan's a big league player right now, but Junior Caminero, those type of guys as well. But I don't see it all coming together. I think the one thing that the Rays are extremely excited about is I don't want to say his name wrong, but it's Shane McClanahan. Their ace is back. Their ace was out last year, and I think he's back now. And so I think, in Rays camp, they're very excited about seeing what he can do along with like Taj and all those guys for a full season. I just think they're up against a bunch of obstacles in a really good AL East league. So I'm going to go under for the Rays. Who's next?
I think the Rays. Okay, I'm looking at that lineup. There's going to be a lot more strikeouts. Everybody's going to strike out more than 20% of the time. It's going to be a lot, but you're going to have a little bit of feast or famine. You got Brandon Lau, you got Junior, you got Josh Lowe. And like you said, they're going to be in a different ballpark, a minor league ballpark. Might give them a lot more offense, but I'm going to go under just because of the very fact that these guys are going to have to hit in different environment. A lot of adjustments and a lot of distractions going on this season as well with where is this team going to be? Maybe they're not listening to it. Maybe they're going to tell us that they're not listening to all the chatter, but I feel like there's going to be a lot going on. It's going to distract them from some good winning Tampa Bay playoff baseball, which we're accustomed to seeing.
I hear you. April, what say you?
I had under, and I also was going with you about the same thing. I think it's too much outside chatter. Especially with them talking about not with them moving the actual team or getting an actual owner. I don't really have faith in them to do as well, especially with me projecting other teams doing better. So as you said previously, if somebody's getting better, somebody's probably going to have to do worse. And for me, it's going to be them.
April, can you put an asterisk by mine that says over if the Rays call up the Black Rays with Ray Morgan, Xavier Isaac, and Chandler Simpson? If all of them come up, they're not striking out as much. So if
you guys making Vegas side bets, what's going on?
If you get a Black Ray, then I change my pick.
I think the biggest question is Simpson, right?
Yeah.
When does Simpson debut in a Rays uniform in 2024? I think we looked at it. Chan is what? Is he 26 or 24?
He's 24. Whoever's in front of him is going to be Johnny DeLuca, who's a pretty good center fielder.
He came from LA.
Yeah, he came from LA. He's pretty fast. And so he really just has that guy over him, and he's probably going to start in center or in a corner. From what I hear.
So Simpson is 24. Trey Morgan's only 22.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised if he makes the big league club this year. Honestly,
Anytime this year.
Xavier Isaacs is 21. Again, I'd be very surprised if he makes the big league club this year. It is we talk about this almost because guys like Vladdy and guys like Tatis and even guys like Soto, even Jackson Holiday now, it's so in vogue to break into the bigs at 21 years old, but it's still extremely rare. Extremely rare. So when you're talking about a Trey Morgan at 22, he's probably going to be down all season, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at the 24, 25, 26-year-olds really before they're, major league ready. I think, how old's James Wood? Is James 24? No, he's younger. No. James is like 22.
Yeah, he was a younger cat. So.
Yeah, he's like 21, 22.
Yeah, so, they're getting younger, but you're right.
They're getting younger, and they're being incentivized, obviously, to go younger as well. So, last one, I'm gonna call it. Say this is the last one over under the evening. What I figure we would only have Central and West to do before we've completed them all. So we'll try to get that done. Maybe we'll call emergency podcast. You guys let us know. Thank you guys as always for rocking and checking in with us. But let's look at the Toronto Blue Jays to finish it off. 78.5. The Blue Jays. I'm writing it in the chat. Blue Jays is, I said, 78.5 in Vegas. Let's look at what they did quickly last year. They were at 74 wins, so Vegas thinks they're going to be slightly better. You know what? Vegas is a funny place because now it seems like everybody is doing better. Everybody's optimistic. Somebody has to be bad. 20 games last year out of first, 74 wins, 88 losses in 2023. The Blue Jays, in 2023, by the way, the league was completely upside down because remember how bad the Yankees and the Red Sox were? The Rays had 99 wins. The Blue Jays had 89 wins. They were both much, much better than they were in 24. In 24, the Yankees obviously are a huge juggernaut. The Red Sox get to 81 wins, but that leaves the Blue Jays at 74 wins. So will the Blue Jays be better or worse than – hold on. Did I get that right? Oh, no, I'm sorry.
78.5?
Yeah, 78.5, but last year's Blue Jay team in the stats was 74. So, yeah, the Vegas thinks the Blue Jays are going to be much better in 2025 than they were in 2024. Malik, do you think the Blue Jays are going to be much better in 2025 than they were in 2024?
I'm going to say over.
Wow.
Yeah. You got Mad Vlad now. You didn't give him his money, so he's going to probably go off this year. We got Mad Vlad. We got very incensed and angry Boba Shetts. We got two players that are ready to get paid. So, you might see something out of those two boys before they make their little pact and walk out, or one of them might get a deal. I don't know if they're going to sign with Toronto. Honestly, you're going to get two really angry offensive position players, hitting back to back. So I'm going to go over for that because they're motivated. They're motivated to get those $300 million contracts.
Yeah. Shout out to Jay Jackson in the chat who said the 23 Blue Jays were his Blue Jays. So therefore they were naturally better. I when he played for the Blue Jays, they were better. So yeah, shout out to the friend of the show, good homie, good brother, Jay Jackson. Hey. Love it. April, what do you think? Blue Jays, 78.5.
With the Mad Vlad contingent.
Big ad with Santander and Jimenez as well. Terrence, you're exactly right. They did get some big ads.
On one hand, I'm kind of like, y'all manager on the hot seat. But then on the other hand, I'm gonna just say over. I'm gonna go over.
I feel like there's part of me that feels like April. Either it's just the handicapping that she has that she doesn't trust, or she's throwing in the towel half the time and just being like, I'll tell you, like, I'm looking at all my notes, but I'm just going to go over. I feel like you looked at your notes and your notes were telling you under, and you just don't want to believe it. I feel like this is what's happening.
You're correct, so I'm gonna write under.
Under.
I know with my notes and put under like I originally said. I don't know why I'm second guessing myself.
And then gives up. Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero, Santander, George Springer, the first 4 projected in the lineup. Flobo, is that a lineup that scares you?
No, I'm going with under. I do think they improve over last year, but unders. Mad Vlad could also be dejected Vlad if you're not careful, and especially Bo Bichette with his defensive stats. But the thing about the Blue Jays is getting Santander, which was definitely everyone's second prize. It did not get Soto.
He's really good.
He's really good, but I think if he landed it in either side of New York, he would have had some players around him to really enhance what he can do. He's on an island right now in Toronto. I'm not sure that's enough. So I do think they're a better team than last.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. You think that's
Mad Vlad or dejected
Vlad.
Vlad? Is he mad or dejected? We don't know yet. It's a big question mark, Cheats.
He's not
More
mad.
than last year.
My cricket put at work. Mad Vlad, black
Not,
ready
this
for
is
it
not
all.
mad Pete Alonso here. This is mad Vlad.
He lets him kind of get mad. He gets miffed.
I feel like he's so good. I feel like Santander is so good that people are just gonna really.
He's a supporting cast, or he's the supporting cast of other players. You know what I mean?
I don't know, Cheats. I feel like he can get on base a little more. He hits with a lot of power.
So good,
good. He gonna hit 40 maybe this year.
I mean, here's the thing. I think that jump is high. Right, that's where I am. Because again, we've got to not look at who we think is better, but we got to look at it against the number. Vegas is basically saying they're going to be 5 games better than last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them this NL East with the Red Sox getting better. I think the O's hold pat. I think the Yankees are still very good. I just don't see where the games are going to come from. That's my challenge with the Vegas thing. I don't see where the games are going to come from. So for that, I'm going to go under, keep them closer to where they were last year. I just don't think they're 5 games better than they were last year, right? I mean, that's where I am with it, especially if we think the Sox are going to be tremendously better. And you guys are finding games with the Orioles. I'm going to say that the Orioles still keep winning. Like, that's where I am on it. So
I bet you do.
Ladies and gentlemen, so now we have done, let's just quickly just let everybody know where we are. If you go to last week's episode, we were able to do the NL West and the NL Central. If you look at this week's episode, we were able to do both the East, the NL East and the AL East. So we still need to do, and I don't know if we're going to find this before the prediction show, but we are going to have to try to find this. We still need to do the AL Central, Flobo's favorite division, and the AL West, which is, I'm sure, Malik's favorite division. So we still have some work that we need to get done. I'll talk to the crew to figure out when we can get it done. We might sneak it in as we go through the week. But we're going to have to wrap this episode up. We did have a task really quickly about one. We had more than one. We're going to talk about players make or break years. If you have one player in mind that has to have a make or break year, this is the year that they've got to take a step or their career may be over. Do you guys have one in mind? I'll go around the room. I'll go first because I am very confident. One of the reasons that I wanted to do this segment is because I think this is a make or break year for Jordan Walker. I think Jordan Walker is the guy that's at the top of my list, where if it goes well, he's back to where he was opening day 2 years ago. Yet if it goes poorly, I think Jordan Walker's either shipped out of St. Louis or worse. The career is in peril. So that's my make or break player for 2025. And I hope that it goes well for Jordan Walker because I'm a big Jordan Walker fan. but that's where I am on this. Anybody else? Make or break players.
In the chat, someone had Tim Anderson.
Ooh. So, April, do you agree with this? Is this your pick? Is your official Tim Anderson has to do it this year or it's over for him?
That wasn't my pick, but I do. Listen, it wasn't my pick, but I do think that he is in a time where I don't know how many more chances he's going to be able to have, but I do like the fact that he is being flexible about where he plays this year, whether it's second base, whether it's center field, and I hope that ultimately it works out for him. My pick was actually Arcia of the Braves. His production has declined significantly, batting average wise, stat wise, and right before we even came on, when I clicked onto the internet, it was like Braves should trade for new shortstop. So it's not like it's really out there where people are talking about him not performing at a level that they need him to perform at. And so I think that the clock is definitely ticking for him this year.
Orlando Arcia, make or break, according to April. I love it. So we got Jordan Walker, Orlando Arcia. Malik, what do you say? Do you have a make or break player this year for 2025?
Oh, man, I had this one that I really wanted to talk about, but I'm going to have to pivot at the last minute. And it's going to be Jarred Kelenic of the Atlanta Braves.
Whoa. He's already past the point of return, in my opinion.
Oh, geez.
Well,
that was last season, bro.
It was last season, but let me get off of that one since you said that. I'm going to go to Spencer.
Hey, look, stick by. If you've got reasons why you selected, don't let Flobo throw you off.
Yeah, I ain't nobody.
I
Come
do.
on.
Yeah. Okay. So
I ain't nobody.
Let me just go ahead and talk about this because I personally was a favorite of Taylor Trammell over Jarred Kelenic when they were both with the Seattle Mariners for obvious reasons, But at the end of the day, Jarred Kelenic was like this number one prospect for a long time, got traded to the Atlanta Braves. He's going to have some runway with Acuna down. So he's going to have to show it within this first month that he can stick in the outfield, or he's going to be a bench player or regulated to the limbo of being just traded as a fourth outfield piece or worse. So that's my pick. And then my secondary pick would be Spencer Torkelson of the Detroit Tigers.
He's already down, right? They sent him down, right?
Ooh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh,
sure. I think so.
I thought it was Jace Young. I would have saw that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
they sent him down?
Oh,
I know he's maybe out of options. Because if they sit him down, it might be a DFA situation.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but he's on the hot seat right now.
Let's look it up before we go too crazy.
Yeah, Let's see. He's still on the roster. He hasn't been sent down.
They're working him out in right field.
Yeah, and that's a task in Detroit. That's going to be a lot of ground to cover. So I don't know. It's going to be a tough bargain for Spence, and I hope that he can stay in because he's a 1-for-1 pick, one of the best bats in college baseball we've seen. So, it's going to be his year, make or break.
I like it. Flobo, you have the floor. Last one, make or break season.
It's kind of funny. We all thought TA, so we even bothered adding him to our list. Like, yeah, we know it's make or break for Tim Anderson. But I had two also. The Mets side of me says Jeff McNeil, former batting champ. But for this, because this guy, I wanted him gone, but he's still around. But maybe Brian Hayes, man. Across the board last season, numbers were down, and he only played 96 games. But still, I do think he's done well in spring training. More eyes are on the Pirates now, especially with skiing. Brian needs to step up for this one.
I like it. I do believe in I believe in him. Obviously,
I do.
He's known more for his glove than his bat, but if he can get some production offensively with the glove that he does play, I think he's going to be pretty impressive. We'll see though. We'll see. I think that lineup is going to be a challenge, right? The Pirates lineup. So quickly, let me just take a look at what they're projecting. Tommy Pham is in that lineup in left field. O'Neal Cruz is in that lineup in center field. Obviously, Brian Reynolds in right. Andrew McCutchen DHing. That lineup's not overly like that doesn't put fear in a lot of people.
It's kind of fun
So,
though. Yeah.
well, in order for it to work, I think Hayes has to hit. So we'll see. We'll see. These are great. This is a great segment. We should have done it longer. I definitely apologize. I want to thank everyone that was rocking with us in the chat. As always, we are here every Monday night. This is fantastic. Thursday, we'll be back. IG Live, Lewis Brinson, special guest. So make sure you check that out. We've got new things coming on the Black Baseball Mixtape Black Baseball Mixtape website. New things coming there. Obviously, a brand new partnership with Red, Black, and Green Baseball. So excited to get Pat on the site, and you'll start to see a lot of that. We've got to thank all of our partners, Steelo Sports, the Players Alliance, Rebellion Harvest Sunflower Seeds, who I just talked to Ryan from Rebellion Harvest just this week. I think they're about a week now out from brand new products. And when I say brand new products, new sunflower seeds that have never been released before, I think they're about a week away. I think it might be like cheese pizza and some other types of sunflower seeds. So excited about that. Make sure you use the access code Black Baseball Mixtape or BBM Rebellion Harvest Sunflower Seeds. Make sure you check them out. NumbersGame Scorecards, awesome, big time family. So you make sure you check them out. And Minority Prospects, who if you haven't been following, we didn't get a chance, April, to talk about college baseball and college softball this episode, but Minority Prospect players are all over the field. They are doing an amazing job crushing it in top Power 4 conferences. They're just all over. So I'm really, really excited about working with Minority Prospects. Man, we got them all. There's just so much going on. Please, as always, don't hesitate to reach out to us, DM us, message us. This week is a big week, fantasy baseball. I think all of you are in on fantasy baseball. We will be drafting this week. So, if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord, follow our fantasy baseball. I think we're drafting live in the advanced league. In the advanced league, we're drafting live on Restream and on Instagram. So shout out to everyone that's involved in fantasy baseball. And I mean, I think that's it. Anything for the good of the order. I want to thank all of you, the podcast crew, for being with us every Monday night. We are over again, but we're coming up on an hour and a half, so not too bad. Flobo, final words for the good of the order.
Yo, first I'm saying thanks so much for checking out the podcast, and we got some big things coming up. More importantly, when the Mets win 162 games, you heard it here first. Flo Pito said it, man. One soda, one now we going.
And I buried a part of our lead. So before we get out of here, a debut of a brand new podcast, 10th Inning Talk, Wednesday, hosted by yours truly, April. April, Wednesday, tell people what to expect.
Hey, y'all. So you can expect my brand new podcast, 10th Inning Talk, where I talk about trending baseball topics related to both baseball and softball, college and professional, and just all things that you're probably thinking, but I'm going to say it. So be on the lookout for that on Wednesday. Yeah. So, and go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, the network is growing. Obviously, In the Booth, hosted by Flobo Boys. 10th Inning Talk, now hosted by April. Make sure you follow them all. New things on the Black Baseball Mixtape website coming as well. Just so much going on. So make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you support everyone in the family and all of our partners as well. Hey, look, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, we're out.